age group, male and female. And they each win $25,000. And one male and female will win $100,000 at Summit. And so in order to vote, you need to have a free Beachbody account or a Beachbody account. So this is a great time and a great opportunity for you to ask a favor. You can, if there's someone you've reached out to before, someone you wanted to reach out to about Beachbody, this is your opportunity to kind of take the pressure off of you. And you say, hey, do me a favor. Will you sign up for this free account and vote for my friend Andrea? She's lost 170 pounds doing these workouts that I do and drinking this shake. She's completely changed her life. And now my company is going to give her $100,000. And there's no negative here. Like, you're saying exactly what we do. We change lives. We get results. And you're sharing a story. Like, go to the voting and read her story if you want to be more comfortable with it. Like, the poor girl, whenever she started, she was soaking socks in blood. Like, she was pre-diabetic, and when she did the workouts, like, her feet would just bleed for days. And she pushed through. She pushed through that pain, and she is competing in a Beachbody Classic, like a bikini competition. Like, amazing, right? Like, she had the guts. Like, she took a video of herself when she started. Like, my sister had to force me to take a picture. I was such in a bad place. I did not want to do it. So she definitely has a lot of footage from when she first started, and that's so inspiring. And if you're somewhere in your journey where you're not where you want to be, you need to document it and you need to share it, because that's what inspires people. It's not, yes, it's the after picture and the abs and the muscles, but it's seeing the change happen in front of their eyes. But being able to share a little bit of Andrea's story, asking someone to do a favor for you, for someone else, and share the heart and soul of what we do. We get people results, and then we reward and recognize them for that. And there's no negative in that. I mean, that is the heart and soul of what Beachbody does. And it's a great opportunity for you to sign up free customers. You can even, what I recommend doing is sign them up with the free 14-day all access pass trial and get them to do Sean Week next week. So you do that now, they get 14 days of free bod.
Not say that was okay.
What? Okay, sorry, squirrel. So they get 14 days of bod, and it's unlimited bod. They get access to everything, and they can do Sean Week with us next week, and they can vote for Andrea or any of the other people. Carl on there, the 53-year-old man who everyone told him he was too old to do it, and now he's like, he was doing like push-ups, like every limb was on a stability, like a whatever ball, not a stability ball, but those little like medicine balls, maybe? I don't even know what, right? Awful coach. But like every limb, like hands and feet. And I was like, fuck, I can't even do that. And this guy's 53 doing that. Like, when he started from somewhere where everyone told him he was too old. So I encourage you to go on there, vote, read those stories, and share them this week. So before I tell you guys a little bit about what Beachbody has done for me, I have to tell you a little bit about what my life looked like before Beachbody. I have struggled with my weight my entire adult life. I have suffered from depression as long as I can remember. And I was always called a drama queen or dramatic. And it was always a negative. People were always, oh, you're so dramatic, and oh, you're such a drama queen. And the truth is that I just have a really big heart. I have a heart the size of Texas, and that's always been a negative until this business, when it taught me how to use that as a gift. But when I was 19, my best friend committed suicide, and I did not handle that so well. And I ended up leaving my college dorm in a straitjacket, and I spent half a week in a psych ward. And when I came home, I was on 2 antidepressants and a mood stabilizer. And I went from feeling everything to feeling nothing. And I was just kind of a zombie. And those meds made me gain weight like crazy. I gained 40 pounds in less than 4 months. And that started my yo-yo. am a yo-yoer. This is the third time in my life I've lost more than 30 pounds. And that's a lot for someone to have to lose 3 times as a 34-year-old. And, you know, the ways that I lost weight before Beachbody, they weren't a lifestyle. It was, you know, I didn't understand nutrition at all. So I did like low fat, low cal stuff, like lean cuisines, like slim fast meal bars for lunch. And I would spend 2 hours at the gym. And I don't know if any of you guys are moms, but like that would never fly as a mom. Excuse me. So, you know, I started self-medicating with the meds because I didn't want to keep gaining weight. Cause I mean, I was a depressed 19-year-old, like who wants to put on 50 pounds, right? And then I started medicating with alcohol. And then we'll just breeze through that, calling that a bad 5 years. That was college. I did a lot of damage to myself, but I was always the girl with the pretty face and the funny personality. And since I'm an alcoholic, I was always the life of the party. And so people never really knew how much I was suffering, how much I was hurting, because I hid it. And I got really good at hiding it. I hid everything about myself that I didn't want anyone to know. The depression, the anxiety, the alcoholism, the no self-confidence, like zero self-confidence. My Facebook life before Beachbody looked something like this. Scroll, 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 compare myself to everyone I graduated with. I didn't measure up. Like, you know, they were always so amazing. I was shit on shit in my eyes. Like there was nothing that I did that was as good as anyone else. And I would compare myself to everyone and I always came up short. And that's no way to live. You know, living, hating your life, wishing you were someone else always. At my bachelorette party, I ended the evening crying because one of my friends there was pregnant and I wanted a baby. Like I always wanted something more than what I had. I was never happy with my life. I was never content. And that's a shame because I've got good things in my life. And then, so my husband had an accident at the gym. He dropped like a barbell on his chest and bruised a rib, 225 pounds, in 2012. And we stopped going to the gym and we never went back because it's hard to get back into 2 hours a day at the gym. And I gained 35 pounds back that I had just lost. And then we got pregnant and I gained over 70 more. And so when I came home from having my daughter, I was 233 pounds post C-section and I'm 5'3". I was completely broken and miserable. My depression was really bad and it wasn't even like postpartum depression. I didn't have days where I would like sit and cry. I actually did the, people think I'm crazy, but I actually did the placenta encapsulation because I know I have depression. I was having a daughter in September and I knew I'd be off for 12 weeks. I also have SAD, which is the winter blues, seasonal affective disorder. And so I tried to do everything that I could to give myself that best winter that I could. And after 12 weeks, I had to go back to work after having Elsie. And that was awful. I was still over 200 pounds and my assistant, who I trained to run my department while I was gone, apparently I trained her too well. She was 19, no experience and no degree. And when I came back, we were equals. She had my cell phone with all my contacts on it. I had to get a new number. I had spent 2 years in marketing. I spent 2 years making contacts and she got to keep all of my contacts and those numbers. They gave me all the outskirt hospitals. They wanted me to quit. They knew they could pay her 2/3 of what they paid me, so they made my life hell. They could not fire me because of FMLA, but she would call me names that I will not repeat. You know, she's this little skinny girl, and she'd be like, "What size pants do you wear? These pants are too big. They're a 6." Like, bitch, I'm a 22. Don't even act like we're the same size. It was awful every day. And the thing is that I let her beat me down. I let her do it because I had nothing for myself. I started Beachbody. It was probably about 3 weeks after I had my daughter. I reached out to my sister, who is a Beachbody coach. And because I was breastfeeding and I knew that everything that I had done in the past to lose weight wasn't going to be healthy for a baby. And so I was at square one. I needed to lose 100 pounds and I had no idea how to do it. She told me I needed to get these workouts and drink this shake. And I was like, I don't drink my food. And I was like, I've tried Slim Fast. Like, that's not what I want to do here. And she was like, this is not Slim Fast. This is nutrition. And I was like, yeah, okay. So, typical sister. I'm the middle child, like through and through. I really am. And she's my little sister. And at this point, like, April didn't even want to be around me. People didn't want to be around me because I was so miserable in my skin that I made them feel bad. April had an amazing transformation through Beachbody. She was always fit. She ran marathons, but she got guns, like really fit from Beachbody. And she felt bad being around me because she was happy with herself, because she was healthy. And I skinny shamed. Like, and I didn't even mean to, but I would do it. Like, she would come home and I'd be like, why do you have to work out? Like, you're on vacation. Like, the shit that people say to me now, like, I didn't get it at all because I wasn't in that place. So it took me 2 days of making a meal in under 60 seconds and being able to drink it with one hand, nursing a new baby. And I was like, all right, Shakeologies, I'm a lifer. Like, I'm good. And the workouts, not so much. I love the Bot All Access because it allows us to actually coach people where they are. It allows us to get people started wherever they need to be. When I started, April suggested T25 because it was the latest release. It was the newest program, it was all the coaches talked about. And that's what we did before the All Access Pass. The latest program was whatever program we suggested. And this way you really truly get to get people started and they can get started wherever they are, because T25 was too hard for me. And April will tell you now, like, looking back in hindsight, that was a bad coach call on her part because it was way out of my physical range. There was only 2 workouts that I could even do. And Tanya, if you guys have done T25, Tanya's the modifier. I had to modify Tanya. And what took me out of the game, and I specifically remember Tanya's doing this in like speed, I think. And Sean's like, Tanya just had a baby. And I was like, no. I was like, Tanya has a 6-pack. Tanya did not just have a baby. I just had a baby. I don't look anything like Tanya. And that comparison came in and I quit. I started 1 million times. I quit 1 million times. The Shakeology was the only thing that I stuck with. And then the 21-day fix came out like 6 months after that. And I had to talk with myself. I said, all right, Melissa, what are you going to do? Are you going to go all in? Are you going to make it happen? Are you going to make excuses? Or are you going to love who you are? Because we're not going to do this. I'm not going to be the mom who puts herself down in front of her daughter, because I can't tell you how many times I've heard my mom call herself fat. I'm not going to be the wife who has to have a shirt on and the lights off to be with my husband, because they deserved more than that. They deserved the person that they saw, and I couldn't see her. And so I asked myself, like, can you love who you are? Like, truly love who you are? Are you just going to be an overweight mom? You have a husband who loves you. He loves you. He thinks you're gorgeous. I don't know why, but he does. And you have a little girl who needs you to be a role model. So can you do that? Because if you can't, then we have to do something about it. And that was probably one of the hardest talks that I ever had with myself. But I tell people that because your clients or you need to get real with yourself. You need to ask yourself those kind of questions. Can you be happy with who you are? And if you can't, then you need to do what you need to do to change it. So I tried the 21-day fix, and I'll tell you, those containers changed my life because I didn't understand food. And when people told me to count calories, I thought they were crazy. I hated it because it never made sense to me. Even though I didn't understand nutrition, it didn't make sense to me because vegetables and fruits, like, they didn't come with a label. So I'm not going to take out a chart and count, like, I'm just not going to do that. So how do I count my calories for my real food? So then you're eating all kinds of processed food that you can count the calories for. And that just didn't make sense to me. So counting calories was never my bang. And so those containers changed my life. And then 21-day fix was the first program that this happened with. And I think that it changed the game for a lot of people. is that cat. I needed cat, an overweight modifier, someone who I could relate to, someone who I could see myself in. And you know what? Most of the time when I do this, I see head shaking because there are so many women out there who also needed cat, because it was a glimpse into something that I could do. If she could do it, I could do it. She wasn't jacked. She didn't have a six pack. She didn't make me feel like I wasn't worthy. And I modified cat. But she pushed me. There was no keeping up with Autumn when I started, like not even a little bit. So I did that, and I'm at work being miserable. And I would go into the parking lot every day before I'd go out to market. Excuse me. Baby says hello. And I would call my husband crying. And I would tell him that I couldn't live this life anymore. Like I couldn't do this. I hated my job so much. I was so miserable, and I knew I was never going to get anywhere if I felt like that every day. So my husband was in law school. It was his third year in law school. So I was the breadwinner. I was the only income in our family. And we had a daughter, and so we saved up everything. We saved every penny. And after 6 months that I went back to work, I quit. And we had our savings to last us 6 to 9 months. And I was like, all right, I'm going to take the summer, be a stay-at-home mom, and then I'll find something else. Maybe I'll go to serving or bartending again. As knowing that I was an alcoholic, I didn't really want to go back into that field because I know that lifestyle. But I definitely didn't want to go back to corporate America. I never wanted to feel worthless for someone else. And it was a month after I quit that I saw my sister at Summit. And this was like before coaches like filtered their Facebook at all. So she posted like 800 pictures. And every time I tell the story, it's like more. It started out as like 100. But she posted 1 million pictures in 3 days. And every single one of them, everyone was so freaking happy. And I was so miserable at this point. I was like, what are these people so freaking happy about? Like, they're in Vegas. They're not drunk. I don't get it. Right? And it didn't matter the size of the woman. They all had smiles on their faces, and they looked like they were having the time of their life. And I was a lonely stay-at-home mom who hated herself. And so I sent my sister a message because she had asked me about coaching many times, and I always told her no. I told her that I was no one to inspire anyone. I told her that I had nothing for myself, let alone anything to give anyone else, and that I just wasn't ready. I told her maybe I'd think about it once I was at my goal weight, right? Have you heard that before? So I sent her a message while she was at Summit, and I was like, all right, I'm interested. Tell me more. What do I have to do? She said, you have to buy a ticket to Summit next year. We have no income. I bought a ticket for 2015 Summit, and I bought piyo that weekend. And Shalene is amazing. I love her. I needed her positivity every day, telling me to be grateful, telling me that I was amazing. All of these trainers have done something different for me in my journey at different times, and I love that. So she also told me that I had to share my journey. And I was like, I don't know about that. Like, can I wait? Can I lose some more weight first? I had lost, I think, 60 pounds at this point, with Shakeology and the 21-day fix. And she was like, no, people need to see you now. People need to see you doing it. That's when you inspire people. It's not when you're finished. It's while you're doing it, because you are exactly who they need to see. You needed to see Kat. People need to see you. And so that was actually, it was 7 or 8 months after I had taken my first picture, and it was the first time I saw it. When my husband took that picture, he sent it to my sister. She made me take it. My husband took it. He sent it to April and saved it to our computer and erased it from my phone, and I never saw it. And I'm going to share my screen here. I'm sure you have shared it in your group, but I will share it again. There on the left, the resting bitch face, like I wouldn't even look at the camera. I hated everything about that situation. And so the first transformation that I shared was in those same shorts. And I remember I shared it on my way home from visiting April in North Carolina. I drove from North Carolina to Pittsburgh and I cried the whole way. It was one of those post and bawl like a baby and like don't touch your phone, except my phone was blowing up the whole way home with love and support. And I didn't want to share my journey because I didn't want to admit to anyone how far I had gone, how far gone I was, the truth about me after Elsie and just in general, like hiding everything for my whole life. And that support was so addicting that like a week or two after that, I shared that I was in a psych ward, like something I never thought I would share, right? Openly on Facebook. And so, I'm sharing and everything, but I came from marketing and April was like, you need these vital behavior videos and this coach basics. And I was like, sister, I'm good. I didn't hit Success Club for 6 months because I wasn't doing what a coach should do. And I went to Super Saturday 2015 in January when Carl came to town to announce Melanie Mitro as the top coach. He didn't talk about sales and recruiting. He talked about changing lives. And I heard these women on stage share their stories. And I said to my husband, that's going to be me. Like, I'm going to be on that stage. Why not? Like, I was broken. I was way broken. Like, I have so far to go from here. It was the first time in my life that I ever looked at everything negative as something that could be a positive. I was like, well, this is how far down I am, and I have nowhere to go but up, right? And so I finally saw what this journey really is. So I came home from that Super Saturday, messaged 2 girls from our team. I didn't even know them. I just saw them posting in the team page. I asked them to be my success partners, and I asked them to join me on this thing called Team Cup the following month. And that January, I hit Success Club 26. Never hit Success Club in my life, hit Success Club 26 because I did the coach basics. I started applying at the time, 3 vital behaviors. The biggest for me was personal development. And when April first suggested it, I was like, self-help, I don't need it. I'm the epitome of somebody who needed personal development. Let me tell you, everyone needs personal development. And the next month on the Team Cup, I hit Success Club 36. And I went diamond 4 weeks after that Super Saturday, just from having success partners, from applying the vital behaviors and to digging into the trainings. And after that, I kind of hit a plateau in my weight loss. I had lost, I think, 70 pounds at this point, and I was stuck in the 160s for like 6 months. Gaining and losing the same 4 pounds. And I'm starting to like lose faith in our products a little. And I was like, what do I do? And somebody in one of my challenge groups was like, well, how many programs have you completed? And I was like, well, I do piyo and 21-day fix. They were like, no, like how many rounds have you done? And I was like, well, I put in the DVD, I pick a workout, and I do the whole thing. Like, what do you mean? Because when I started, I couldn't follow a schedule. And so am I frozen or is everyone else frozen? Or am I just, okay, some people are moving. Okay, sorry, some people are frozen. I was like, and so when I started with T25, I couldn't follow the schedule because I couldn't do the program. So I never really started with the schedules. And I'm not a personal trainer, and I don't know about you guys, probably most of you are not. We don't know why the workouts are in the order or what order they're supposed to be in. And that's why there's a schedule, because the professionals made one. So I committed, the first program I completed was piyo. 60 days of piyo. I lost 11 pounds and like 14 inches, had a waist for the first time in like 4 years. I don't even know. And something else really amazing happened there. I was listening to Chalene Johnson's Car Smart, And I'm telling you, Shalene changed my life, man. And in that car smart, she kept saying, you know, what is the one thing that is holding you back from the person you want to be? If you haven't asked yourself that question, I really think you should, because for me, it was my drinking. It was the one thing that I couldn't share. I wouldn't even like post pictures of me with a glass of wine at a social event because I didn't want to draw attention to my drinking. And, you know, it was the one thing that I was scared to death to face, because how could I be an inspiration if I was an alcoholic, right? So I quit drinking in the middle of piyo. I didn't go to rehab. I didn't go to any AA meetings. I used Beachbody as my AA. And BB is my AA. I mean, what is AA? It's a group of people who support you, keep you accountable, and encourage you to become better. That's what we do, right? And it took, I think, 60 days, but I actually posted maybe even less than 60 days. My first post was a Transformation Tuesday post, and I went from a blue moon to a Shakeology. And that's when I kind of came out that I quit drinking and that I was an alcoholic and that I was scared to admit that. And I posted that. I posted that I was scared to admit that I was an alcoholic because I thought people would think that I was a bad mom, bad person, or a bad coach. But here's what I've realized through personal development and Beachbody is if someone is going to fault you for making a positive change in your life, that's their problem, not yours. Like if somebody's going to judge me because of what I did yesterday instead of what I'm trying to do better for myself, that's not my issue. My issue is just moving forward. And one of the reasons why I didn't go to AA, I've been to AA meetings in the past. I know the 12 steps, but a lot of people don't, I didn't wait for the bottom to fall out, you know, because I had Beachbody, because I had personal development, because I was truly working on myself. But a lot of people in those programs, they don't really have a choice. Something really bad has happened, or, you know, they've gotten into trouble. And so they have to build up from the bottom. And they spend a lot of time talking about the stuff they did when they were fucked up. And I didn't want to focus on everything that I did when I was drinking. I just wanted to become a better person tomorrow. I wanted to be a better mom, a better wife. And I knew that I couldn't do that if I constantly focused on everything that I did that was wrong. Because I know me, and my depression takes form in self-sabotage. And I knew that it would just take me down instead of build me up. So I dove into personal development. I dove into the business. And I went on from piyo and I did Insanity Max 30, which is crazy because, like I told you, I had to modify cat when I started. And I still, you know, I followed Michelle in piyo. I followed Scott and Danielle Natoni in Insanity Max 30. Like, I'm not a jumper, I'm large chested. Like, they don't like to jump. I don't like to jump. Like, it just doesn't happen. And, you know, Shalene's like, piyo makes everything easier. And she's right. Like, I would have never been able to do a cardio program like that without piyo. And then I went to my first summit that summer, cried every day. It was like a come to Melissa moment every day. I still remember Sean T gave me a high five halfway through the workout doing Insanity Max 30. It was one of my like highlights of my life. It was right when I was about to max out too. And then I was like, I got my second wind. And, you know, I just couldn't believe that I was there and that I'd come that far. And then I kept going. And so it took me 2 years to complete a round of 21 Day Fix, worst coach ever. And then I did 21 Day Fix Extreme. And at this point, I lost 95 pounds. And, you know, one of the reasons why I was pushing so hard, my why, you know, that we talk about all the time is that I wanted a better pregnancy. I wanted more kids and I wanted a better pregnancy. I wasn't allowed to work out with Elsie and I couldn't have even if I was allowed to. I saw a chiropractor every day from 14 to 42 weeks. And I was miserable and I hated it. And I had a rule when I was pregnant and after I was pregnant that no one was allowed to take my picture. I probably have 6 pictures of myself and my daughter in the first 6 months of her life. I was hiding from my life and I was done. doing that. I wanted a pregnancy where, I could enjoy it, where I could take maternity pictures, even if I gained the 70 pounds back, like I didn't care. I was in a better place mentally, and I finally loved myself. And that was huge, coming from a place of someone who hated themselves. So 95 pounds down, best shape of my life. And my husband and I started trying to get pregnant. And here's the big thing too, is that I had that 100-pound like loss goal. And that's a big goal to work towards. And it's a big goal to give up 5 pounds shy. But I didn't care. I didn't care about the scale anymore, or that 100 pounds, because I had done what I set out to achieve to do. I was healthy, I was happy, and I was in a good place. And I didn't care about the number on the scale for probably the first time in my life. So we got pregnant on our first month. Thank you, Shakeology. And then a week later, we were in a car accident and I went into a windshield. I didn't have my seatbelt on because I had unbuckled to get something for my daughter in the back seat, and I didn't put it back on, I guess, because Chipotle was 500 yards away. I don't remember the accident, thank goodness. But I share that because I can't tell you, probably every mom I've ever talked to has done that, has unbuckled to get something for their little one in the back seat, and it just takes a minute. And so I went into that windshield at 50 miles an hour. And the next thing I remember, like clearly, is actually I remember being in the car. I couldn't speak. I didn't know my name, what day, what year, the president, my daughter's name. I couldn't even get out like the words, I don't know. All I could do was grunt. And that was terrifying. And so then the next thing I remember is I'm in the trauma unit, and I had a neck brace on. I had a huge hematoma on my head from hitting the windshield. They thought I had a skull fracture, broken neck, that I broke. I still have like a weird like ganglion cyst in my hand. Broke 5 bones in my hand, broke my wrist, possibly tore my knee, and a possible broken ankle. And it was like a death sentence, right? So I was actually really lucky that all that I walked away with was a broken neck. I fractured C7, which is the powerhouse of everything. It's where everything comes into play. So when they came in, after running some tests and x-rays and everything, and they told me that I was no longer pregnant. And that was hard to take, but I was relieved because I fought really hard for a pregnancy that was going to be better. And that was not it. That would not have been it. So I was relieved with that news. And then when they told me that I couldn't work out for 3 months, I cried because I didn't know what I was going to do. That's how I was dealing with my alcoholism, with my depression, with my anxiety, with all of it. It was, it was my solution. And how was I going to be a coach if I couldn't work out? How was I going to inspire people? How was I going to, be who I'm saying that I am? Because the biggest thing I had in my coaching thing was that I was a product of the product. I was proof that the product works. I had lost 95 pounds by following the modifier. That picture that I showed you, that is 95% following modification. I didn't unmodify until over a year after the accident. I am a modifier through and through, but they don't look like modified muscles to me. Like, our programs are so amazing that people can lose 100 pounds by following the modifier, right? So the broken neck was really a turning point in my journey because no one would have faulted me if I would have quit. No one. I've never had pain like that. I felt like a bag of bones every day. And I was a recovered alcoholic on narcotics. I was scared shitless. I've seen so many people lose their sobriety because they get hurt and they get on pain pills and they go back to drinking, or worse, the pain pills lead to an opiate addiction or drugs. And I was scared about that because I knew what was behind me. I knew what kind of life waited for me if I gave up. And I didn't want that life again. I had worked really hard to get away from that life, and I didn't want to go back to it. But I didn't know how to push forward. I had never dealt with anything that painful in my life. My best friend that killed himself, he was in a car accident 2.5 years before that. He was in a coma, and he fought the fight. And I watched him fight that fight. And I watched him give up because it was too hard. And so I knew what my future looked like if I gave up. It was a bridge. And I didn't want to be on that bridge with Kirk because I had come too far and I had too much to lose. So I kept drinking my Shakeology. I didn't make a meal for a month because people brought me casseroles, and some, my clients, my coaches, some people brought me fixed approved meals, but for the most part, it was a lot of carbs. And it was about 4 or 5 weeks after the accident, my mind started going to that dark place and I couldn't snap out of it. Didn't matter how much PD I did or what I did. I mean, I had lost all of my independence. I couldn't drive. I couldn't hold my daughter. I couldn't even kiss my husband without pain. And I'm a very independent person. And I'm a very active person. And so I didn't know what to do. And I thought, I had CAT scans and MRIs and all these narcotics and all this food and all these foreign objects in my body. So I did a cleanse. I did a 3-day cleanse, and I have pictures of me in a neck brace, like my before and after of the cleanse. I don't even think I weighed myself because I didn't give a fuck. But I woke up on day 4 after that cleanse, like the Melissa before the accident. Like mentally, I was back. And I tell people that about the cleanse. I'm like, it is amazing. Like, yes, it's great for losing some weight, and I'll give you guys some pointers on how to suggest that later. But it brought me back. Beachbody, again, saved my life. My doctors all told me that if I had that extra 95 pounds on my body, I would have went through the windshield. I would probably be paralyzed or dead. Or even worse, I would have made it. Because the Melissa before Beachbody would have never fought. She would have never made it. She would have been up on that bridge. It would have been enough for me to say, fuck it. And I know that because I didn't have any fight left, and it took a lot to fight. I went to a dream team training a couple months ago, and they had us hashtag our years. They said hashtag 2016, hashtag 2017. And this was like in February. So it was the beginning of the year. Well, I went back to 2015. 2015 was the year of change. I quit drinking. I dove into personal development. I dove into the business. I did 10 months of EMDR therapy, like intensive therapy. I did a lot of work on myself because I needed it and I wanted it and I'm worth it. And that's what we do here. If you want to be successful in this business, you need to become the best version of yourself from the inside out, and you need to get good at sharing that. That is what we do. That is how we inspire. That is how we motivate. 2016, that was the year of fighting. The accident was in December of 2015. So the entire year of 2016, I fought. I have videos of me with my neck brace on doing band walks from 21 Day Fix Extreme. You can do those with a broken neck. They burn your butt like crazy, and you can do those. I told anyone who would listen that exercise is a privilege and not a punishment. There are people out there who cannot do it and would give anything to be able to. And the people who can, who are too lazy to do it, are just lazy. And they don't understand the gift that they have to be able to push play every day, to be able to have a body that can do that for you. That's a gift, not a punishment. Like, exercise is good for you. It's a privilege. And so that's the direction that my coaching went. I told my clients, I told anyone, give me your sweaty selfies. Like, in my challenge groups, I was like, send me your endorphins. Like, I need them, right? And if you guys follow Katie Ersta, She's from Pittsburgh, so, you know, her every sweat matters, you know, really, really hits home for me because, you know, that's kind of how I came my push. Like, if you can, why aren't you? You know? So when I got the neck brace off, they told me that I would be pain-free in 4 weeks. And I was like, great, you know, 3-4 months out. Okay. Like, whatever, we'll get back into it. No, my life was pain every day, unbearable pain. And at this point, I didn't even have a reason why. My neck was completely healed and my back hated life. And I have videos of me doing size in a soft collar, like T-Rex. I couldn't even lift my arms above my head, doing insanity max, like incredibly modified with a soft collar on. Because as soon as I could move my body, I got back into my workouts. And you know what? They were the only time I didn't feel pain. And if they weren't a part of my life, and if Beachbody wasn't a part of my life, I would have never gone there, because who in their mind is in pain 24/7 and says, you know what's going to make my back feel better? Burpees. Like, nobody. I'm crazy. So it was 6 months before I could do like 5 or 6 days in a row. Took ever. And I hit that 100-pound loss mark before I was cleared to work out. That is the power of Shakeology and the containers. And that's huge. I hit that 100-pound loss mark and I wasn't even working out, right? So it took me 11 months before I completed a program after the accident, and it was quarter force, and I needed that fight. After 2016, I needed that fight. And so I did 30 days of quarter force. I get injections in my back every 6 weeks. They range anywhere from 6 injections to 14 injections every time I go. I did 6 months of PT, and my physical therapist was the first person. It took me 9 months to find out why I was even having pain. And chronic back pain is a mental mindfuck, especially when you don't even know why. I could do burpees, I could do burpee tuck jumps, but I couldn't do dishes. They would bring me to my knees in pain. And so my older sister even thought I was faking. She thought I was faking my back pain so that I could sue. I mean, I had doubters. I didn't care. I knew my pain was real. I was not willing to get stabbed in the back every 6 weeks if it wasn't. And I pushed through. And you know what? In 2016, I changed some incredible lives. I have coaches and clients with fibromyalgia, with chronic pain, with nerve damage that feel better than they have in years, because I talked about it. I shared my struggles and my pain and how I pushed through. You know, when the people that are watching you, the ones that need help, they're not in the successful phase of their life. So if all you're sharing are your successes, they can't see themselves. You have to share your struggles too, because that's where people are. You need to meet them where they are. You know, coaching has taught me that the pieces of myself that I hated, that I thought I would take to my grave, they're my biggest strengths. My depression, my anxiety, my alcoholism, my chronic back pain. You know, like, those are the things that change lives. Those are the things that inspire people, the things about yourself that you wish you could change. Guess what? There's other people out there thinking the same exact thing, and they need to see someone doing it. So if you're not sharing those things, you need to be, right? So after quarter force, I went on and I did hammer and chisel. It came out when the accident happened and I wanted to do it, and then I was a freaking neck brace, so that was out. And that was the first program that I did not modify. and it's one of our hardest programs that we have. It took me 3 years into my journey, over a year after the accident, but you know what? I lifted the same weight as Autumn or more, and that was a huge win for me. And if you give up, you never get there. It doesn't matter if you modify to get there. I couldn't even do one push-up on my knees when I started. I still do push-ups on my knees. I don't care. I'll tell everybody. Like, it doesn't, that doesn't equal success. You do push-ups on your knees and that's challenging for you, then good for you. Talk about it. You know what? Make a video on the proper way to modify. Like, don't be afraid that you're not all that, right? Don't be afraid that you're not Autumn Calabrese, because none of us are. That's why she's Autumn Calabrese. Like, you are who you are, but you're doing it. I didn't want to post videos of me when I couldn't do stuff. And now, like, my only regret of coaching is that I didn't start sooner. That is the only regret that I have of coaching. I never went back to work. I was able to keep us afloat for a year until my husband got a job. My coaching income kept us afloat and kept me home. And so I will never go back to work for someone else who puts me down or who pushes me against someone else for their well-being. Ever. That's what corporate America is. Like, marketing, he played me against her so that I would hit the goals. And I don't work that way. I mean, I'm competitive, so I kind of did, but that's not how to motivate me. For the first time in my life, that drama is saving lives. The fact that I care so much, that I wear my heart on my sleeve, is a benefit in this business, is a strength in this business, where everywhere else that I've ever been, it's been a negative. I think it was Shalene, and she was at Summit and she was talking about, rewriting your story, and that, maybe someone has labeled you as something and that's not the truth. Guess what? You get to rewrite that. Drama queen had always been a label for me, a negative label. And now, girlfriend, you call me a drama queen all you want. Whatever. I'm fucking changing lives. And it started with my own. And so 2017 has been the year of blessings, because I changed, I fought, and now it's all coming back full circle. I was the March monthly winner for the Beachbody Challenge. I won $1,000. I was in the running for the quarterly contest for the $5,000. I didn't win, but it was amazing to even be on that board. I was the top 4 in my age group for the Beachbody Challenge. I mean, it has been on a Post-it note in my gym for like 3 years. Beachbody Challenge winner. It's been on a Post-it note for 3 years, and I did it. And you know what? The producer of the Beachbody Challenge called me on a Friday night and told me, win or lose that finalist, he's producing my story, not someone else's, mine, because I fought for it. I'm not comparing myself to anyone else these days. I love being me. I wouldn't change it for the world, and that is worth everything. I would pay Beachbody $100,000 for what they've done for me. Do not cheapen what we have. $160 to change your life is nothing. It's a drop in the bucket. Do you know how expensive lap belt surgeries or weight loss surgeries are? They're buku expensive, and people will pay for them because they think they will get them results, but they don't get them change. They don't get them what matters, what counts. Physical appearance is just that. I tell my challengers, if you don't make the change, you'll end up right back at the beginning. If you don't make the changes. If you don't fall in love with yourself and your journey. Every picture that I have, I've had professional pictures taken, and I tell that photographer, do not Photoshop my stretch marks. I want to see them. I worked hard for those babies and I love them. I have pictures of me squishing my stomach and making it look like a brain, and I post it on Facebook, and I'm proud of my body because you know what? I've put it through hell. I have put it through hell. I'm a binge drinker. I poisoned the shit out of my body and I put it down for years. It went into a windshield. It saved my life. Your body is amazing. It had a baby, a C-section, like it's lost 100 pounds. You know, we need to stop putting ourselves down and realize how amazing we are and that you all have the potential to be amazing. You just got to put in the work. Because here's the thing, everything is going to be hard for the first year. My first year of sobriety, really hard. Had a freaking breakdown on the cruise on the first day, like FaceTime my dad, like hysterical, like bad, right? Because I was in the elite party and people were handing out drinks and I didn't know anybody and I knew I didn't know anybody and I knew I couldn't turn down one more drink and I didn't know where my husband was and I didn't have a key to my room and I'm sitting out in the hallway on the cruise and I have seasickness and anxiety. I had my first anxiety attack. I didn't even know what was happening. So I faced my dad and told him, he is also a recovered alcoholic of 34 years, that I wanted a drink, and I actually, for the first time, really thought about it. And you know what I did the next day? Actually, not the next day, because I told myself that I was not going to post anything on Facebook on the cruise, but the Monday after, I posted about it because you know what? I woke up the next day sober. And my sister the next day was like, Melissa, you know, when I was crying or whatever, she's like, you don't have to drink for people to like you. And I was like, April, I love you, but that's not what this is. And I'm sorry, but you know, if it makes you uncomfortable that I cry or that I have a breakdown, that's just too damn bad. Because at the end of the day, all that matters is that I stay sober. And whatever I have to do that is what I'm going to do. And you need to be that way with your journey. Your journey should be the shit to you. Like if somebody's going to give you a hard time about eating a salad, first of all, that really pisses me off because I don't know why we get down on people for making good decisions, but like have the courage to say something to somebody, like stand up for yourself. No one else is going to do it for you. Your lips are blue. Are you so cold? Okay. So now I'm going to get into a little bit of training for you guys. And let me share my screen. So a couple things that I do after these calls when I share my journey, you know, now that the waterworks are over, is that I give you guys some tips. And it starts with how I start my day now. So the biggest thing that has helped me in my business is this year, I started being really consistent. You know, I was a new mom and I used to fit it in the pockets of time, like nap time and this and that. And I'm not a morning person at all. But with a 3-year-old, I was realizing like I needed to get up before her to get stuff done. So I listened to, because I don't read anything. I do Audible. I listened to The Miracle Morning for Network Marketers. And if you guys want to get up in the morning, listen to that book. It's amazing, changed my life. I'm so not a morning person. So I started getting up an hour and a half before my daughter. And I do a power hour. You can do everything you need to do in this business in an hour. So here's the power hour, and I will share this. And so I love this because it has everything laid out for you here that you need to do in the hour in time increments. Set a timer, get it done. And then it has your 3 vital behaviors. And then you have your people to list that you add on Facebook, your hey girls, your yo bros, your follow-ups, your challenger invites, your coach invites, your social media posts for the day, 5 people that you add to Facebook from Instagram, and your brain dump is my to-do list. So literally everything I need for the day is in this power hour. I am not a streak person. I'm not an Excel person. I'm a pen to paper person. So this works for me. And then I put them all in a notebook. And the social media post 2 to 4 times a day. I'll share with you guys really quick because this is how I train my new coaches. And it's really easy to be, quiet, baby. it's really easy to duplicate. So when I first started, I was like, yes, okay, let's make a posting schedule. Like write it down 20 things that you like about yourself. Like, first of all, they're just figuring out who they are as new baby coaches. They don't know that, right? So here's a great way to teach your coaches how to post consistently every day. Every day you have 4 posts. 2 lifestyle posts. I went to Target. My daughter is so cute. I hate picking up poop in my yard, like whatever, right? You were a person before Beachbody. You need to still be that person. And then 1 health and fitness post per day, 1 motivational and inspirational post. So there's your 4 posts every day. On Tuesday and Thursday, you do a story share, not the whole story, a piece. Consider yourself Hansel and Gretel. You're leaving breadcrumbs. Your story should be 3 parts. It should have an image, an idea, an explanation, Elsie, of who you were, what your life looked like before Beachbody, what part of Beachbody changed your life, and what does it look like now? Here is why we share our story. People need to see your before they can picture their after. You have to show the change all the time. Be showing the change. I don't care if it's that you never felt like you belonged and now you have all these friends. Like, doesn't have to be weight related, right? You were working for a corporate job that you hated, and now you've been paying your mortgage for 18 months as a stay-at-home mom. Like, whatever it is, paint the picture every Tuesday and Thursday. Every Sunday night, you do a coach call to action post. Every Wednesday night, you do a challenge group call to action post. And when I go through and add my people on Facebook, I don't do the suggested friends because a lot of times they're friends of coaches or friends of clients who I may want to be coaches down the road, or they're friends of coaches who you don't recognize their name. It just gets ugly, crazy. So I'm in groups on Facebook of my target market. So like mom groups, depression or anxiety groups, like whatever. You have a Bashan, find some Bashan mom groups, like whatever. And then, so I go in there a couple times a week. I mean, I'm active in those groups, but a couple times a week, I just mass add people. I don't add friends every day. I go in and I add a bunch of friends a couple times a week. And then every day I go on my list in my power hour and I write down 8 names. There are 4 lines. I write down 8 names. So the next day I go in on my phone. I go profile, Melissa, friends, recent. I find the last name on my list and then I write down the next 8. When I start to get to the top of the list, well, that's where I know I need to. My hey girls come from people who like my post the day before. This changed is great. I mean, at least you're doing it. But here's the thing. If you're not reaching out to the people who are liking what you're doing, you're missing the people who are interested. These people are already liking what you're doing. Message opening, because it's like, hey girl, thanks for the love, I really appreciate it. And then ask them a question. If they liked like a before and after picture, a Transformation Tuesday post, I'm like, thanks for the love, it's always appreciated. I sometimes like I can't even believe I'm here, it's been a long journey. Is there anything, are you working on your own journey, or is there anything that you're working on? And that's my question. It's tailored towards the post that they liked. And when I do this, it's also a nice eval of your social media the day before. So when I'm going to find my messages for my Hey Girls, I go back through my social media from the day before. Did you post about Beachbody? At all, right? So it's a great way to eval, like, oh, I didn't jab about anything yesterday. I'm always jabbing about something. So, that's a huge tip. If you're not reaching out to the people who like your post, you're missing the boat. You're missing the people who want to get on your bus, right? They already see what you're doing. They're already a fan. Reach out. So I like to explain your Facebook and messages. So not only do you need to be inviting people in messages, but you need to be talking about your challenge groups and coaching on a regular basis on your social media. Because if you send that message inviting to somebody to a challenge group, what's the first thing they do? They go to your page and they look. They don't see nothing about a challenge group, and now you're a creepy white van with no windows trying to pick people up because they don't know anything about a challenge group that you're talking about, right? You need to post about it on social media. You need to talk about it in private messages. You need to do both so you're not creepy. So every month, we've been traveling. It's been a little crazy. I haven't made my June one yet. I need to, but every month I make a marketing plan. So here is my marketing plan for May. I got this from Melanie Mitro. Really like it. It takes me 15 minutes on PicMonkey. I am not tech savvy. So if I can do this, literally anyone can make a marketing plan. So the first thing I do is I label everything I have going on that month. So my coach training, my Sizzle into Summer, that was my challenge group, my business opportunity event, the fourth Sunday of every month, the second Sunday of every month, my challenge group event where I do a live event where my coaches and I go live and talk about different topics. And so first I put all those things that I know are happening in my marketing plan. The first Monday of every month, my 30-day coach basics, coach training, coach university, whatever, that starts the first Monday of every month. Also starts my 5-day free group. So last month it was pizza goals, healthy pizzas, 5 days of healthy pizzas. It was a huge hit. In June, this week, we're doing talk about healthy or talk about goals. I think it's talk about healthy. Talk about healthy. And it's just a bunch of healthy taco recipes. Like we're in a hotel this week and I prepped beforehand and brought a bunch of stuff and we've been having healthy tacos all week. Like easy, right? Show people it's a lifestyle. They don't have to give shit up that they like. But anyways, so if I know my challenge group starts the third Monday of every month, my challenge group starts the third Monday of every month. So I've got my daily jabs for my challenge groups. And then every Wednesday, I've got that call to action for my challenge groups, right? So the first 2 weeks of the month, my team and I are recruiting and challenging and jabbing and messaging, inviting for challenge groups. That even gives my new coaches 2 weeks to invite people into our first challenge group. Then the second 2 weeks of the month is my daily jabs for coaching because my coach training starts the first Monday of the month. So this way, my team and I always know what's happening when, what we're inviting to, what we're posting about. Because how many times have you had a group start on Monday and it's Saturday and you're like, right? I mean, that used to happen to me all the time. So the marketing plan just kind of eliminated that. And so I even have daily jabs talk about goals for my June free group. So I have everything in here to like keep me on track. And so I have even a last call a challenge group post, a call to action post, like get specific and make a marketing plan. You know, you have to have a plan for your month. And then the last thing that I will go over for you guys, how are we doing on time? Oh, my Fitbit died. I have no idea. About an hour. Okay, doing pretty good. Is the way that I form and how I go through my script. And I say script because I don't copy and paste anything. I just use it as a guideline to make sure that I'm asking all the right questions. So first of all, if I'm forming someone that commented or liked on one of my like challenge group posts or coaching posts or something like that, my form looks a little different, but I do try to incorporate questions into regular forming too. Because when you get a lot of objections, if you're getting objections, you're asking enough questions. Because people aren't sure, you know, that goal or not sure about what they're getting, that there's more questions. So my family questions are what I need to know so that I can help them. I don't know what's going to hinder them or get them caught up, right? Like, how many people do you cook for? Do you have any picky eaters? Do you eat a lot of meals out? Do you have a lot of evening activity? Are your kids in sports? Are you on the go a lot? Like, those are my questions about family. Who cooks the meals? Right? So occupation is, what do you do? Do you sit at a desk all day? Or are you active all day? Do you have a fridge at your job? Can you pack snacks? Do you have access to like snacks and food? Do you get a break? Do you get to eat at work? How many times do you eat out a week at work? Do you work midnight shift? You need to know this stuff. You're their coach. You're supposed to help them on their journey. This is all stuff you need to know. Recreation. Has there ever been any kind of exercise you've enjoyed doing? Start with something they enjoy, right? Zumba. Okay, great. So I know I'm going to like gear, the all access pass or dance programs like UV2. I freaking love it, right? It was a huge opportunity because the entire cast is older women who are bigger. And remember when we said people need to see themselves, like that is huge. Every time I do UV2 on a live video, I show that cast. And they're so lively. If you haven't done it yet, okay. The black grandma on there, I love her. She's my soul sister. Like, I love her. And all the time, like, they're like dancing and they're like, I feel hot. Like, it's so fun. It's cheesy, but it's so fun. So if you haven't tried it yet, try it, go live, talk about it, share the cast and talk about that, right? People need to see themselves, and that's a great opportunity to get people started. So what was I saying? Recreation. Okay. So then I asked them if their family does anything active or their kids are in sports or anything like that again, right? And then my message is pretty clear at that point. Then my script, I will also send that to Andrea. And basically it's, it started out as 21-day fixed script, and now all I talk about is the all access pass, because why would you talk about anything else? And it's, I think this would be perfect for you. Let me ask you a few more questions. Is that cool? Yes. Okay, great. Have you ever done a health and are you currently doing any, following any fitness or nutrition plans? Which would you say that you struggle with the most, the fitness side or the nutrition side? What about that do you struggle with? Is it motivation? Is it consistency? Is it time? Is it the ability? Is it knowledge? Like, what is it that you struggle with, right? Because I need these, because later when I'm like closing them or whatever you want to call it, I'm going to talk about it, right? I'm going to be like, well, this is great because you get a Shakeology shaker mug, which is great for meals on the go because, when you have to go to your son's softball game and that concession stand, that's your weakness, right? Yep. So you take your Shakeology with you. Like, I know all these things and I'm applying them in the conversation because I asked. Then I asked them if there's a goal that they would like to achieve in the first month. And I usually say like a pants, a dress size or an outfit in your closet. I stay away from scale goals because I attract a lot of people who have a lot of weight to lose, and saying 100 pounds is hard because you're not going to see that for a while, right? So I start off the bat with like some kind of like, clothes goal or something like that. Then I ask them, what would it mean to you if you could reach that goal while gaining a better relationship with your health? And most of the time at this point, they tell me everything, right? And then I'm like, okay, so here's what I can hook you up with. And I describe, I tell them a little bit about the all access and then a little bit about the containers and the nutrition system. You get these color-coded containers, a booklet that's actually going to list out all the different foods and the food groups that you can eat. You get to pick what you want to eat. You cook it. You put it in containers and you eat it. So for your picky eater, this is great because it's not like you have to follow this meal plan where you have to cook 30 different meals a month and you don't have to keep all these random ingredients in your kitchen that you're never going to use. Like, you get to pick what you eat, right? And I tell them you're even allowed chocolate and wine on this plan. So you're not eating cardboard. Like, it's a lifestyle change. Does this sound like something that could finally help you feel comfortable with your body? Again, yes. And so then I really lay it on thick, everything that they get. Okay, so you get 24/7, 365 access to every single workout we have. I'm talking the entire library, new releases, yoga retreats, cooking shows, kids programs. You get a 10% discount for a year on your shakes, which saves you $156 alone. I'm all about the savings. You get the color-coded containers. You get the portion fixed booklet. You get a Shakeology shaker mug, great for those meals on the go when you have those evening sporting events. You get access to my private accountability group. You get me as a coach. You get a free t-shirt for every program you complete, a chance to win $500 every month. You get all of that for $160. It's legit the deal of a lifetime. So, and the perfect way to get started. Like, are you in? And I don't have lot of people tell me no. And I even add in there, like Shakeology comes out to $4. Oh, sorry, I forgot the biggest one. 30 meals of Shakeology. I don't say a month. I don't say a bag. I say 30 meals of Shakeology. And then I tell them Shakeology comes out to about $4 a day, which is cheaper than a Happy Meal or Starbucks and a hell of a lot better for you. And that's in that portion too. And then, so most of the time when I'm like, are you ready to get the best way to get started? So are you in? And they're like, yes, because they know what they're getting. They know how I'm going to help them. They know how it's going to apply to their life. And then I send them my pictures and I tell them that I've lost 111 pounds by following these modifiers and drinking the Shakeology and learning how to eat. And I'm proof that the product works. If you don't have an amazing transformation, share someone's. My sister shares my picture after every closing post she sends. I think I should get commission, but she saved my life, so we call it even. She sends my picture to everyone. My sister has lost 111 pounds following these programs at home. Like, how is that not you're showing that it happens? Right? And so here's where most coaches are like, awesome, yes, SC2, like, let me send you that link. And I'm going to tell you that you have more tools, right? So then I'm like, all right, great. Just a few more questions and we'll get you started. What flavor of Shakeology do you want to try first? What's your favorite flavor of ice cream? Right? So now they're already comparing Shakeology and ice cream. That's a win. And then I'm like, okay, great. So today, you can add on a 3-day cleanse for just $45 with your kit. It's normally $70. If you've never done a cleanse, let me first tell you, this one's not so scary. You still get real solid food 4 times a day and a shake with every meal. A cleanse is a great way to jumpstart into a healthy lifestyle. It'll help you crave healthy foods. You'll sleep better. You will think better, more clarity. It's going to cut down on the sugar and caffeine cravings that you're addicted to caffeine or pop or whatever from talking to them on their struggles. I apply something to there on how the cleanse is going to help them. And I tell them also that you're probably going to lose, quite a few inches and drop 3 to 8 pounds in 3 days. And didn't you tell me that the reason why you always quit is because you don't see results fast enough? Right? Like, it's a win, guys. Why wouldn't you want to start your clients off with a quick win? So many people are all about instant gratification, and this is a way to give it to them by being healthy, right? So I just ask, and then I send my pictures of the last 3 cleanses that I've done. And most of the time they're like, yeah, sure, add it on. And I have yet to have anybody that's like, whoa, this is a scam. I don't want any of it. Like, no one has ever talked themselves out of a challenge pack because I offered the cleanse. And even the people that are like, no, I'm good. I don't need the cleanse. I'm like, all right, great. No worries. And then I ask for their email and I get them started on the mobile enrollment app, because then you don't have to deal with like them going off your link and dealing with coach relations. Yes. And then a lot of times, like a month or 2 later, they'll be like, hey, I have a wedding coming up. Tell me about that cleanse. Right? Because I offered it. I talked about it, because here's the thing with the all access. We don't have to go back after our clients like a month or 2 down the road and be like, hey, get another challenge bag, right? I need more Success Club points. Like, you need another program. So we kind of just like let them go. And the cleanse is something that we don't talk about enough. And it's great. I mean, the cleanse changed everything for me. I do one, well, not now that I'm pregnant, but I do one. I typically would do one every 3 to 4 months, and I talk about it. So all I'm saying is just ask, right? You're starting your clients off with a quick win. You're giving them an extra tool in their toolbox to succeed. And think about what it's going to do for your commission and your volume and your downline if all of your coaches start selling Kickstart challenge packs, right? Like 3 out of 4 people that I start are a Kickstart challenge pack, all access. $70 commission from one person. Doesn't suck. And the volume is more, and it's a win for them. You're not just taking their money, you're giving them a quick win, and a lot of people need that. And I think that's all I have. So do you guys have any
okay, wait. I think that is amazing. I have to be honest, I don't talk to people about the cleanse as much, but you have me sold. Like, number 1, I need to get one and do it so I can have results from it. And number 2, I need to start offering that for just to get the quick win.
Right. Like, all you have to do is ask.
Yeah. So your story was amazing. Like literally, I'm just so grateful. I was thinking, I don't even know who your sister is. I just know she posted on the wall. You guys, my sister is amazing. She's got this awesome transformation. I'm like, oh my gosh. And she's sharing her story. And I'm just so grateful that we did this, because just hearing it, I mean, it's awesome. And you are here for a huge purpose. And thank you to your daughter and your husband for like, just because it's rough, like in a hotel, like goodness. But yeah, I would. So will you send the scripts and everything, or like just like anything you
I will send you my Power Hour tracker, my marketing plan, and the scripts. I'm happy to share. And then also, I want you guys to keep this. I want you to keep my story. Elsie, mommy's got I want you to keep my story in mind the next time you're afraid to ask someone to join your challenge groups, because the ask literally saved my life. And there are thousands of Melissas out there still suffering, and all you're doing is offering a life, offering a chance to be something that they never thought they could be. You know, I know sometimes we feel icky inviting someone to a challenge group, but you have the potential to literally change lives here. Yeah. And, you know, don't be afraid to just ask. And so you need to hear these stories. You need to see these success stories and things to know that, you know, that's the power that you have. You have that power.
Yeah. 100%. Like, yeah, you're right. It just puts a face, and it puts like just a story behind why do we do this. So when you're in the trenches of inviting and, you know, challenge packs and scripts and success clubs, don't forget, like, every person has a story. And I just think that this call was a great reminder of that. So thank you so much. I'm just so excited. We'll have the recording, you guys. And so I will post it tomorrow. And when, Melissa, like, take your time or whatever, but whenever you get your stuff to me, I will share it with